back, everyone. J Bone here for Smash This Podcast on a Sunday night. An absolute crappy day out in southeastern Wisconsin. Oh my goodness. Folks, let me tell you what's happening around here. On this lovely day in creeping up on the middle of April, we are today and today only. We are skipping spring. That's right, folks. We are skipping spring. We are also skipping summer. What else are we doing? Oh, yeah, that's right. We're skipping fall and we're heading right into next winter. Is it because of the Game of Thrones thing? Is that what's going on? My goodness. It's like 5 inches of snow outside. It's ridiculous. I need to move. But enough about the weather recap. My goodness. We are here to talk some Impact Wrestling. But before I get into all that, all those shenanigans, want to remind you all to check out the rest of the fam associated with Smash This Podcast. Got the Rant With Ant family, the Wrestle Addict crew that just had a tremendous week last week out in WrestleMania. They're doing all their reviews of everything that happened at Mania. They're dropping their thoughts on all that stuff from this past week. And I've been trying to catch up with this stuff. So please go check out the Fourth Wall, Kings of the Ring podcast, Gift of Pod, Nacho Mama Soap Opera, all those guys over there. Please go check them out. They all started Patreons too. I'm the only one that has not started a Patreon. I'm really thinking about doing one. And I also want to say the response to the Dark Side of the Ring episode 1 review, unbelievable. Over 600 views on this channel. That's crazy. So I just want to say a humble thank you. And the numbers are still climbing. So who knows where it's going to end. But to get those kind of numbers on this channel lately, pretty cool. Pretty cool. So thank you. Critical Sting is in the chat. What is up? Johnny E and Johnny. Yeah, we're going to talk about those Johnnies. Let me tell you. Johnny Bravo. Shenanigans with the ref. My goodness. Yeah, I think I kind of saw this coming in talking with a certain individual who was who told me he was up in the Impact tapings up in oh God, Windsor, Canada, whatever. Can't think of the full name of it. Up in Canada for these tapings. He said something's going on. He didn't tell me specifically what it was, so I was like, fine, that's fine. You told me enough. So we knew something was going to go on because, Johnny Bravo's been acting funny lately, and this episode completely just answered all the questions. Jesse Cole is in the chat. Sup, bro? Too sweet to you too, sir. Thank you for joining. Hope you all are having a great weekend. Thank you, Jesse. Much appreciated. So, yeah, I mean, if you guys have not checked out my review, please go over there as soon as possible. No, I'm kidding. First of all, go check out the series. I'll be reviewing all of them. Absolutely now with those kind of I mean that could have been a one-time lucky thing with the first episode. We'll see how the rest of the series does on this channel. Um, but it looks like they're going to be doing some uh, it's getting a good response. I'm hearing positive things. So I'll certainly be watching all of them. I wish someone had done this a long time ago. Certain, especially with certain subjects on that series, you know. Um, Hulk Hogan's. I'll talk about this just for a couple more seconds, and then we'll jump into Impact. Hulk Hogan's response to this was interesting. He said he wished um, Dark Side of the Ring got his side of the story, and their response was even more interesting. They were like, "Hey, Hulk, we did reach out to you, and you didn't respond. So maybe you can get in on the next one." So Hulk throwing a little shade, and Dark Side of the Ring throwing it right back. Hey, you know, maybe he just decided he didn't want to be a part of it because his ex was. She was a fairly insignificant part of it, but from a woman's side of view, I guess you needed something as far as Elizabeth's side of the story. But it's just funny, you know? Not trying to like slam Hulk or nothing. I'm not doing that. I love Hulk. But it's just funny, you know. He's a character, always will be. Well, let me tell you something. And Dark Side of the Ring was like, well, let me tell you something. So, Impact Wrestling for April 12th, 2019. Fun episode. Very fun episode. We are building storylines. We are building characters and new characters as well. And speaking of new characters, I just got done watching some of I pick through it. I don't watch the whole thing depending on what it is, classic, what they show in the classic sense of it. The explosion episodes. I'm assuming it's going to be the last one from the Vegas tapings. They had Luchasaurus versus Chris Bay, and that was a pleasant surprise. Pleasant surprise because I can't remember if this is the first or second time that Chris Bay has been a part of Impact Wrestling, especially with those tapings. I'm going to say it's the second one. I think it's the second time, but I know this is the first time that Luchasaurus got used. And that was a nice surprise. It was great to see him, especially missing Lucha Underground. And they did mention that he was from Lucha Underground. Great, large, or how do I say this? Great supersize of a wrestler, similar height to Madman Fulton, but seems to be more athletic in the ring. But we'll see more of Madman Fulton next week when he debuts in a singles match against Tommy Dreamer. I can't wait to see that. But the fact that, see now, I saw Luchasaurus a few weeks back in that big the Dark Realm segment where Rosemary had to fight to get Allie's soul back, and one of the first people she met in the ring was Luchasaurus. And what looked like is she killed him. Well, apparently he's not dead because he showed up in this explosion episode. So who knows? Who knows if they'll use him more in future tapings? Maybe they'll sign him. I have no idea if he's still under contract with them. I have absolutely no clue. We've seen Luchasaurus, Daga, Jake Atlas, and Chris Bay in the Vegas tapings. Oh, the possibility, says Critical Sting. Yeah, I mean, they've used some great, but that's one thing that, and I'm going to talk about it for this specific episode that I'm about to review as well. Impact Wrestling. Now, of course, every situation is different as far as who they're facing in the ring. But as far as these other talents, like local talents that they use, once or twice to build new characters or to put them in the ring as like a possible squash match, depending on who it is. It's they're doing a good job with them. And yeah, I can't wait to see more. We'll see if Luchasaurus gets, they see if they bring him back. Jesse Cole says, do you think Impact should merge with AEW? Apparently, Josh Matthews says that they're making an announcement on Monday. I think they said Monday. Don't quote me on that, but I think they said sometime this coming week. I thought he said Monday about merging or a partnership or something. I got to look into, they said it in the social medias, and I think they might have also said it in the press pass, but I didn't listen to most of the press pass. I listened to very little of it, and then I had to run off and go do something. So that's also on my to-do list, is to go check out that. I certainly was very curious to see what Madman Fulton and Ace Austin had to say. Two new, I'll say heels, because I think Ace Austin is a new heel, as he should be. He's going to be a fan favorite, but I think he's going to be a heel. So we'll see. All right. Impact Wrestling. Where do we start here? We could just start at the start of the episode and run our way through it. Starts out with this this very interesting rivalry that Moose has with the Rascals. He's kind of picking his way through them, and they are certainly the underdog. This week we saw Moose versus Wentz, who I think showed a little more offense than Trey did. Was it last week? And but not much. He pretty much ragdolled Wentz around. Like I said, Wentz got a little more offense in, which was more, the kicking, but man, all the times that Moose caught him was just crazy. Moose is just super athletic. And wow. Moose wins this one, finishes him off with a spear. And yeah, I guess, having the guys at ringside didn't help as much as I thought it was going to, because that was the one thing I noticed. I'm sitting here, I was like, because I watched the first 5 minutes of the show and the last 5 minutes live. The rest of it I had to go through nefarious means, unfortunately. But it's life. It's what happens. But yeah, I was yelling at my TV because they always say I always say that the Rascals should all come down to the ring at once, especially in a situation like this. I was yelling at my TV. I'm like, you guys got to go down to the ring with Wentz. Now, granted, they're baby faces, so they're not going to do a lot against a guy like Moose, you know, like say the Chris brothers or OVE would do in a match. They're not going to, and they're not going to distract Moose much either. Moose is pretty confident. Um, Critical Sting says we can't talk about Moose without mentioning that robe. Did he wear a robe? Oh yeah, I guess he did wear another crazy robe. I don't know if it's one he's worn before. I'd have to go back and watch it. But yeah, he wears quite the crazy stuff. He really does. Apparently, we have a Hulk Hogan fan in the chat. It says Impact should merge with Lucha. Well, if anything, I think a proper word to say that would be absorbed, but you got to remember Lucha Underground is a Hollywood show. It's not a wrestling brand. So it's more of a discussion for another time. But they've used plenty of their talents, I got to say that much. So there you go. Hulkamania is running wild in the chat. So yeah, Moose beats Wentz with a spear. We'll see what Dez does next week. He said on social media earlier, he said something like, I think I have to bring a brick. So we'll see if they switch it up. Maybe bring some weapons. I don't know. They got to do something because Moose is just killing the clubhouse. Absolutely killing the clubhouse. Says Moose has potential. Oh, he's showing potential. Moose is such a better heel than he was a babyface. Because he wasn't showing a lot of charisma. It was just a big power move set. And yeah, he was popular and stuff, but what he's doing now with promos and his who he's teaming up with, I think Cross is probably helping him out a lot too as far as the promo. But the fact that they're doing more and different things with Moose, it just, he's shining a lot more than he was when he first entered the company. I'll say that much. I think they've got big plans for him for the rest of the year. If you listen to commentary, you got to pay it. It's how do I say this? When you're watching the match, pay attention to Don Callis. Because I think he unpurposely lets stuff slip. Heel Money Moose is just more confident over Maul. Yeah, he is. He is. I think he is. He's getting the opportunity to do more. I think that has a lot to do with it. So, and I think it's more fun to be a heel than it is a babyface anyways. I think it's a lot easier to attempt to get under people's skin in different ways. So, yeah, absolutely. Next, we get a promo talking about RVD signing, and he will be the first time he's actually going to be at the Impact tapings is the night after Rebellion. But you know what? If I had to put money on it, depending on what they've got booked for the rest of the evening, which is 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from, is it tonight? I think. I have absolutely no doubt that we'll see more of a I think we'll see RVD that night. Obviously not an RVD fan in the chat here. Well, you can have your opinion to that, sir. But I'm happy he's back. I was happy. Well, I'll say I was happy with. Oh, he's a. Okay. I see what you're saying. Great wrestler, not a great human being. Okay. Are you saying that because you had a personal experience with him? because I get that maybe uh you know someone didn't have a good experience with him. We'll see. Kobe Cooper is in the chat. What is up? Yeah, he blew off an autograph. Okay, that does not make him a shitty person. Okay. You'd have to explain a lot more of this situation, but I don't have enough to pay attention to that right now. I'm going to keep going with this. Okay. So, but no, that does not make him a shitty person. You can have your opinion of him. So, it's the way he was. Okay. You show me a wrestler that doesn't have some kind of ego, and I'll show you a very shocked face, okay? But anyways, Jackson Parker, what is up? I've been watching NBA, MLB, and NBA. Nice. Colby does not think that Impact should merge with anyone. More companies means more opportunities. Okay. You're saying they shouldn't merge with anyone potentially bigger than them, is what I think you're saying. Like, someone who's about to land a giant TV deal. Maybe. We'll see if it happens. Oh, we're going to have the merging argument in the chat here. Okay. Anyways. All right. So, RBD's coming back. I'm excited for it, but I like to hear all your opinions in the chat as well. We're not going to see him for a while. We'll see him the first show after Rebellion, tentatively, because I think we're going to see him somehow, some way at Rebellion. That's a guess, but we'll see. Maybe he'll poke his head out someplace. Who knows? And it's also going to be interesting to see what they do for a first rivalry for him. He's talking about how he wants to get championships. Well, I don't know. If I'll say this, I don't think he's going to go after the big one. Although we may see him go after Johnny Impact or Cage, depending on who wins at Rebellion. But maybe X Division. Could be. We'll see. All right. So then we get a very interesting match between Su Yung and Rosemary. A lot going on here with this whole Undead Realm thing. Rosemary, like I said last week, obviously still wants revenge for the loss of Allie. And she brought at the dog collar that she used on Allie down to the ring. They pointed that out. So yeah, it's like a point of mourning, she's still mourning Allie. Maybe kind of a weird way of mourning Allie is that she brought the same dog collar down, but it is what it is. You guys are all chatting up on RVD. All right. But yeah, Su Yung and Rosemary was decent, but there was a lot more outside of that went on. Su Yung using the undead bridesmaids. I still like, we haven't seen a whole lot from Su Yung lately. But as far as charisma, character, and everything, what she portrays in the ring, I think Su Yung is still the best in the company. That's my opinion. You can have your opinion and it may be different from mine, and that's fine. But I still I see Su Yung come out, and I'm not saying I'm scared of Su Yung. If she was standing next to me and gave me a look, I might, I might, pee down my leg a little bit. I'm not going to lie. But, but when she comes out and the music and what she does and the camera angles and the look and the everything, Soo Young is like the complete package. I love it. But yeah, she comes out with all the undead brides. Rosemary comes out by herself, but then Kiera Hogan comes out later and tries to help Rosemary, and Rosemary's not having it. She's like, you need to go away, Firefly. Whatever she said to her, and which then caused a whole, DQ, whatever, no contests, whatever they want to call it. The undead brides completely maul Kiera Hogan and Rosemary outside. They put both of them back in the ring, and Soo Young just dismantles Rosemary and makes Kiera Hogan watch. And then they do the same thing to her, just completely decimates both of them. And so yeah, we'll see where this goes. This has been one of the, I like this story. I know not everybody likes the whole Undead Realm storyline, but I like this one a lot. Kiera Hogan is a Hulkamaniac. Well, she does have the same last name, but no, she is absolutely no relation to the brother. Wonder if they will acknowledge the fact that Kiera is making the same mistakes Allie made last year. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. Kobe Cooper says, I'm excited for IBD. I bought his shirt last night in the Impact event in Owensboro. Oh, okay. In the I can't think of what that was called, but okay. Gotcha. Cool. So they're selling as merch already. Nice. Yeah, that is one thing is, they are absolutely selling more merch now. Critical Transformation. Okay. That was up on the Twitch, I believe. I'll have to check that out. Critical Sting says Rosemary told both of them to stay out of the fight. Yeah, that's true. This is true. Styles is in the chat. Woo, J-Bone, what is up? Kobe says, I had a blast. All the Impact talent I met was nice. Even Josh was cool. I have a whole new respect for Josh. I know a lot of people don't like Josh Matthews. The reason why I have a whole new respect for Josh is because it was while he was live last year at the Lucha Underground versus Impact. It was all the pre-show stuff that he went live walking around, and some of the other talent was doing stuff too. Jimmy Jacobs got his nails done or some crazy stuff. But Josh Matthews was taking a camera crew or whatever he was doing around, was in New Orleans? Is that where it was last year? And talking to the fans, pre-show, everything he did to interact with the fans, which was real. I don't know, how do I say this? How he was intimate with the fans live through so much of this. He was in a pretty good mood, treated everyone around him fine. People would come up to him and he was fine. And I have a whole new respect for him. During the whole Jeremy Borash thing, I couldn't stand him because I couldn't stand the feud. I felt it took away from the show. But now, significant time later has passed. I have a whole new respect for Josh. And I know he has lots of hats in the company, so I respect him even more for that. The guy busts his ass. And he also works very well with Don Callis. I'll say that. I enjoy his commentary now more than ever. Just streaming over at Twitch. Figured I'd come in and say hey for a minute. Appreciate that, Styles, man. Hope your streaming's going good over there. Guys, if you want to check out some fun gameplay, he does some current stuff and some retro stuff depending on the night and what he's in the mood for. But Styles does all sorts of gaming, going all the way back to Atari-based stuff to current stuff, everything in between, all sorts of game systems, everything. Go check it out over on Twitch. Just look up Styles Gaming, like it says here in the chat here. Go check him out. He's a good brother. Critical Sting says, dude streamed all day, dear God. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Josh Matthews was streaming all day, and I don't think too many people would be willing to do that, to take time. But that was a point last year where they were still obviously trying to help build an audience. And I think that's such an important factor in this brand, So much respect for Josh. All right. What's next here? So yeah, like I said, we're talking about the Undead Realm stuff. We'll see what happens going forward with Rosemary. Will she finally get some kind of revenge? We'll see. Then we see a very interesting promo between Killer Kross and Willie Mack. Now, I'm an older wrestling fan, so I don't know how many people caught this. I did mention it on social media after it's either Impact or Kross shared this promo on Twitter. If you listen to it, Kross uses a line from an old WCW, WWF wrestler from back in the day, someone who is missed, someone who is not around anymore. The line is, but I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. A line from the late, great Sean O'Haire. I miss Sean O'Haire. He had so much potential and so much talent. And just his, it just never got off the ground with him in the world of professional wrestling. Started in WCW, came over to WWF. And I don't know. I think some people blame Piper because what was going on with Piper at the time was kind of critical to what they were doing with Sean O'Haire, because they paired Sean O'Haire up with him, but Piper was never under contract at the time. So when Piper got upset about something, he just up and left. And I think that kind of left Sean O'Haire just kind of floating in the wind, and then after that, they just let him go. And that might have really gotten to Sean O'Haire. And he worked the Indies for a while, but then he died of an overdose or suicide, or it was something horrible, something tragic. So yeah, we miss Sean O'Haire very much, and I know that Killer Kross is a tremendous fan of those promos, and I shared them on Twitter too. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up Sean O'Haire WWF promos, and they'll come up instantly. And it's basically him acting like the devil's advocate, the guy on your shoulder trying to tempt you to do things. And then he always ended it with, but I'm not telling you something that you don't already know, or something like that. Yeah, good stuff. And to see Killer Kross use that kind of devil's advocate on the shoulder of Willie Mack, and maybe turn him against Rich Swann. Very interesting. So, and what's even more interesting is excuse me, Killer Cross is tied into this whole thing with Johnny Impact, but he's also doing this, which makes me a little confused, but I like it at the same time because to see Cross do this adds just another level to his charisma, in my opinion. Didn't know Sean O'Hare spoke. It was, yeah, you got to just look up the promos. You got to look up the promos because those promos were they were playing those right before they started using them in a push, and then then it went away. So, but yeah, I always liked Sean O'Hare. I wish they did more with him, but he was my favorite for a while there. Big time favorite. So yeah, we'll see where this goes with the whole Killer Cross and the tempting of Willie Mack or whatever. You know, he's obviously trying to sway him in some way. Killer Cross is a very interesting individual. So we'll see where this is going to. We then see the debut. I was very excited about this because tag team wrestling over the last few years has been something that has been slowly growing and something that this brand can really be proud of. You know, you look at LAX, the Lucha Brothers, and stuff like that, and OVE, and you know that tag team wrestling is special in this brand. They just don't have a ton of teams, but it seems like they are really starting to get some more teams now. Within the last year, I'll say slowly that number of tag teams has been building, and this is one that I think is going to be going to do some significant damage on the roster. The North debuts. Got Ethan Page, one of my favorites, along with the debut of Josh Alexander. And they went up against two, what I'm assuming is two local guys up in Canada, Sheldon Jean and El Reverso. Sometimes I can't even read my writing. I almost said El Espresso. No, that's not it. that's a drink, I think. Whatever. What I liked about this, because first looking at who they were facing on the other side of the ring, I thought this was going to be a squash match, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that this wasn't. I had absolutely no doubt in my mind that the North was going to win this, but the fact that we actually got a chance to see Sheldon Jean and El Reverso put some decent offense in was pleasant. Was a pleasant surprise. I'll say that. Critical Sing said, "Would you watch Josh Alexander's mini doc on YouTube?" Yeah, if you're talking about, I think it's on the Impact channel. If it's the one I'm thinking of, then yeah, I saw it. I like that one. That was pretty good. And I've watched a few lately, so I'd have to go back and look, but I think that's the one I watched. It's pretty good. Duke Togo's in the chat. What is up? Lucha Bros, LAX, Rascals, and the North can't get any better than that for a tag team division. All four of them have had unearthly matches in PWG. Oh, out in LA? Yeah. Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of PWG, but I've heard about them. I know that's where a lot of people have gotten their starts in the past. Yeah. Oh yeah. And OVE, the Chris brothers. Absolutely. So yeah, the tag team division in Impact is a solid one. And the Deaners. Yeah, I'm excited to see the Deaners. Like I said, when Cody Deaner was in Impact like 10 years ago, I really didn't care about him. I could give a rat's ass about him. He was just doing some crazy weird shit with ODB. It's more of a comedy thing. And granted, yeah, it seems like there is a fair amount of comedy along with their stuff. But um I think Jake something being with him, or excuse me, Jake Diener, they're brothers. Um, I'm hoping that them taking the time to do these promos shows that they're going to be taken seriously in some way. So we'll see. Duke Togo says, I'm rooting for the North to take the titles off of LAX until Impact releases an international documentary about the backstory of LAX. I root for whoever is the biggest underdog story. LOL. All right. Give her. I don't know why YouTube censored you saying giver, but I know that, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Don't even know what it means. I don't know. It's kind of like get her done, I think kind of like oh God, Larry the Cable Guy. Wow, I almost like forgot where that came from. I'll kind of consider it like a get her done. Yeah. Duke Togo says take the titles off Lucha Bros. Oh, okay. And Lucha Bros have been an inspiring backstory too. Both grew up poor, selling masks in front of Arena Mexico. I think I heard that someplace before. They spelled it giver on TV. Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming they're treating that kind of like a get her done kind of thing. Yeah. So, yeah, very excited about that. The North comes out with a win here. Great match. And you can see a sparkle in the eye of Ethan Page now. He's very excited about this opportunity because he's just been kind of coasting along now in the X division. He's had great matches, and I've talked about this before, but he's been losing. And now that he's with someone that he's been in a tag team with for several years on and off, because I guess Josh had an injury. And I think that was, yeah, I saw that documentary. I've watched so much stuff lately, like my head was been spinning the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw that little doc you were talking about. How has Phoenix not been X Division champion, please, Lord? Yeah, I hear you there. He's AAA Mega Champion. I agree. I think he should be. Hell, he's even faced guys like Kenny Omega. He's a great singles wrestler. He's a great tag team wrestler as well. Somewhere down the line, maybe. But I think within the next year, we won't see the Lucha Brothers on Impact Wrestling anymore, because I think he'll be, unless there is a partnership, with OVE, I don't think we're going to see much of them anymore. It's a guess. I don't know who's going to be working with who. I mean, Impact is still working with AAA, obviously. I don't know. There's so much stuff going on in the world of wrestling. My head's spinning. We'll see. But yeah, good tag match. North wins. I would not mind seeing more of Sheldon Jean and El Reverso. Interesting name, El Reverso. Then we saw a little promo from the North after they won. They are putting the tag division on notice. Absolutely. Gail Kim is then at ringside watching the Madison Rayne versus Tessa Blanchard. Last time we saw Madison Rayne wrestle Tessa was about a year ago. And that was when both Madison and Tessa were just one was coming back, one was debuting. So that was an interesting time last year. This time, Madison's coming back again from a we'll see failed tour of duty in um, Women of Honor, Ring of Honor, and Tessa has now been in the company for about a year, and she's been kicking all kinds of ass and names, and has been champ. So, yeah, Gail Kim's at ringside watching this match. This is the third time we've seen Madison Rayne go up against Tessa Blanchard. And they remind us that Madison Rayne is 2-0 against Tessa, which is very interesting. Very interesting. I'd have to go back and watch those. But obviously it's, to set up other stuff, Tessa can't come in guns blazing and win them all. She had a bit of a humble start in Impact Wrestling, but then after this rivalry, she went crazy and just started really kicking the crap out of everyone. Kobe says, do you think the Lucha Brothers are going to be leaving Impact soon? From what I've seen, they enjoy working everywhere, but I don't know if AEW wants them exclusive or not. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a hard one. Well, we'll have to wait and see, Guess that's why they haven't put them near the top titles recently. Well, and I think, they took a shot. They took a chance on them last year, around this time last year, and they put the championship on Pentagon. It was for a short period of time. I'm not sure why. I think if they had to go back and maybe had the chance to do things differently, I think they would have kept it on Pentagon a little longer. But just the fact that they did that showed that they were willing to do things for the sake of catching the fans' eye, because that turned a lot of heads when they did that. If you notice that got a lot of people talking. So yeah, Madison Rayne actually beats Tessa again for the third time, and then the whole time, Gail Kim's at ringside. Something else I want you guys to go back and watch if you didn't notice it. Gail Kim's got this very interesting rivalry against Tessa Blanchard. But if you notice, she doesn't bash Tessa a lot. She gives her a lot of constructive criticism. And she also says something very interesting in the fact that she thinks Tessa reminds her a lot of a younger self, which I was like, oh, okay. She's young and she's hungry. It's very similar to how Gail Kim was back in her youth. She started out in wrestling, and it was always getting in Tessa's head at the same time. I think they're both trying to do the psychological game, but I think Gail's honestly one up on Tessa in that respect, because I think Tessa's character is a lot like me in some ways, very ADD. It gets distracted easily. But yeah, Madison Rayne beats Tessa for a third time. Interesting. I don't think it's going to play a lot into this, but it is funny. It is kind of funny. Critical Sting says, I just want to see Phoenix versus all the Rascals and RVD before it's over. Oh, I hear you. Yeah, that might happen. We'll see. Excuse me. Then we see an OVE promo with the announcement that next week we're getting the in-ring debut of Madman Fulton, or single debut, because he was already in the tag match with Callahan, but he's getting his singles debut versus Tommy Dreamer. Oof. I can't wait to see that. That's going to be nuts. I think Tommy's going to have to get a little hardcore with Bad Man Fulton for this one. Or maybe Tommy doesn't have a chance. We'll see what happens. But I can't wait to see that. But yeah, this rivalry between Rich Swann and Sammy Callahan is certainly hitting the boiling point, I think. We'll be doing the predictions somewhere within the next week and a half or so. We got to get a few more matches, though, on that card. We're probably going to have to also make up or adjust some things because of what's going on with the whole Eli Drake situation. Next week, we are getting Eli Drake and Eddie Edwards versus Lucha Brothers for the championship, which I could pretty much guess already how that's going to go. But I liked what the little promo they cut in the back room before they started brawling, before the Lucha Brothers and LAX started brawling again. What did Eli say? He said, "You got the D and you got the E," or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much what he said. I mean, just how he said it sounded. It was like, wow, that sounds like something Eli would say. That was pretty cool. Eugene Evans is in the chat. What is up? Glad you could join. Critical Sting says, who would have guessed we would see Tommy Dreamer as a TV regular in 2019? I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure you would have a pretty much unanimous vote of no one would guess that. Much love and respect for Tommy Dreamer. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the Philly tapings. I have a feeling Tommy may bring in some old friends for that tapings as well. And I can't wait because, as I've joked about on here before, with the guys from the Total Nonstop Impact crew, someone in their comments section a couple of videos ago said Impact Wrestling is the Canadian ECW, which, yeah, you could call it that. I'd agree. So next we get a Falaba and Scarlett Bordeaux promo. Pretty funny. Falaba is just kind of looking around for her, obviously, because he wants to thank Scarlett Bordeaux for the help she gave him last week against Daisy Hit Squad. And that little red dress, and I mean little. Whew, my goodness. Whew. Varnish in here. But yeah, fun little promo there. Looks like Scarlett Bordeaux is going to be tagging with Falaba next week. I can't wait to see how much fun that's going to be. And, I have no doubt that they are eventually going to keep Scarlett Bordeaux as strictly a Knockouts division competitor. But for now, I think they're just building her character still, and they're having fun with it. And as long as she's okay with it, go with it. We've seen her just do stuff with like the whole roster pretty much here and there and everywhere. So it's just fun, She is quite the knockout on this brand. So we'll see. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun next week. Her tagging with Falaba. Then we get the main event. Taya and Johnny Impact in a tag match against Jordan Grace and Brian Cage. Fun match. Little comedy in there, Johnny trying to get away from Cage all the time. But some solid in-ring work by everyone, especially Jordan Grace. I think Jordan Grace really stood out for this one, especially against Taya. And we see at the end of this match what I was talking about at the beginning of this. We get Johnny Bravo. It obviously different than what I have on the thumbnail of this, this video. But I threw that in as a little comedy thing as you're welcome, something Johnny Bravo would say. And I haven't seen it yet, but I'm waiting for someone to put the Johnny Bravo hair on Johnny Bravo and make a meme out of it. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. Looks like Duke Togo is a fan of Fallah Bah. He says, bah, bah, bah. Oh, no, no, no. I like Fallah Bah. He is a lot of fun to watch. Calling it now. Scarlett is setting up Bah for Killer Cross. Ooh, that's harsh. I know that she's with him in AAA. They have quite the pairing up, and I know in real life they're together. We've seen that on social media in like the Instagram pictures, stuff like that. But I don't know if they're going to bring that pairing to Impact Wrestling. I'd be a little surprised because right now, I mean, Scarlett Bordeaux is what how do I say this? When she first came to Impact Wrestling, she was quite the heel, quite the sassy, sexy heel. Shut up, 5, a 10 is talking, Still waiting for them to put that on a t-shirt. They have to. Why they haven't done it yet is beyond me, but whatever. But now she's a little more of a baby face. People are rooting for her, especially in this whole intergender war that she's having. She had a match with Glenn Gilberti. Now she's been facing the Daisy Hit Squad. And so, yeah, we'll see. I mean, she could certainly pull a swerve on us and do that. But I don't know. Interesting little idea there. Fallah Bah is kind of similar to Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He gives us grown men an excuse to act like morons for a brief moment in time. I'm creeping up on 45. I've been acting like a moron all my life. I don't need an excuse. I come on here and do it for you guys, But good point. Good point. Critical Sting says hard cardio in quotes. Yes, absolutely. Kobe says Fallah Bah is a future world champion. I think he'd get a huge pop and be Impact's top babyface. I don't know. That's kind of a tough one. I mean, I know he had that match against Austin Aries, and it just wasn't meant to be at the time. It was a brief storyline, and it worked for what it was worth then. Maybe against the right person in the future. I mean, I certainly want Fallah Bah to stay in this brand, and it should be, like they say, everyone's goal at some point to be world champ. I agree. But I don't know. I'm not going to just come right out and say he can't do it, but he's kind of one of those characters where it's like, I don't know if I see it. It would take the right, and I have absolutely no doubt. Excuse me. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that someone like Don Callis or Scott D'Amore could cook up a good feud for him and make it happen and make it legit. But it would take some time and take some thinking. So that's a very interesting point. It's a very interesting point. But yeah, towards the end of this match here with Johnny Taya versus Cage and Jordan Grace, Johnny Bravo cuts down Brian Cage as he's about to suplex Johnny. And Johnny gets a win over him. And Cage gets screwed again. And then Johnny Bravo's all hugging Taya. Crazy. He's hugging Taya. And he wanted a big hug from Johnny. And Johnny's like, pump the brakes. I'll shake your hand. And then Johnny Bravo at the end is holding up both their hands in the ring. Looks like he had a couple of water bottles or something thrown at him. I don't blame him. You know, crowd being pissed at him. You got to be careful with that, though. You don't want to incite a riot. I saw that in one of the last MLW videos when that group Contra was in the ring. They really incited a riot in Chicago. Holy crap, that was nuts. By the way, I got to catch up on MLW. I do want to review the what the hell is that? Battle Riot 2. That looks like that's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be reviewing that soon. And they got another episode that just dropped. So yeah, I got a lot of MLW stuff to review. Hopefully I'll be able to do it somewhere in the next few days. I got a lot of personal stuff going on. We'll see what happens. No promises, but it's on my to-do list. So we'll see. So yeah, solid episode. A lot of new faces, a lot of character building. You know, they're carrying these storylines to, in a few weeks, we're going to have Rebellion. So we'll see what happens there. And like I said, I know they're going to have to move some things around with the departure of Eli Drake. So, you know, I don't think they're going to have to scramble much. They're going to have to maybe adjust a few things and maybe give Eli Drake something different to do. So, new tag team, singles match, something. We'll see. So that's going to do it for this. Once again, if you're new to the product, I've had a few new subs recently. That's tremendous. Thank you. Don't forget to... did I say Eddie Edwards? I thought I said Eddie Edwards. Who did I say? Oh, did I say the departure of... Did I screw that up? I know Eli Drake is leaving and Eddie Edwards, they're going to have to come up with something different for him. You said Eli. Okay, I screwed him up. Okay, Eli Drake is leaving. They're going to have to find something new for Eddie. There we go. All right. Thank you, Kobe. So, yeah, folks, don't forget to smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications so that you know when more of my content hits your screen. And if you're a horror fan, something else I'm going to be bringing to the channel is, and I want to just quick throw up an apology. I know I was really inconsistent with the whole Walking Dead thing. I would record them, get excited about the series, and then I wouldn't put out any more reviews. Black Summer on Netflix looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. New zombie series. I am going to be watching it and reviewing it on here. So if you're a horror fan, Netflix fan, Black Summer fan, whatever, I will be reviewing it for something different on here because I've been trying to get some different stuff on here once in a while. You know, like I did the documentary review. It's wrestling related, but it's still a documentary. It's not a show review. Well, it is, but it isn't. You get what I mean. Been trying to get some different stuff on here. now that, the hype from WrestleMania weekend is done, my head has slowly stopped spinning, and trying to get some newer, different content on here. I officially named the channel. It's no longer J-Bone. Excuse me. It's officially Smash This Podcast. So I think that'll help build the brand as well. Give it, if fans are curious, it'll be easier to find, because not everybody wants to look for a J-Bone, but maybe Smash This Podcast will help. Oh, why wouldn't people want to look for me? I'm kidding. So yeah, and if you're new, by all means, there's plenty more of this where it came from. Impact stuff, MLW stuff. Can't wait for WoW to come back. Still crossing my fingers for Lucha Underground. Not looking good for them though. But plenty more of that also where it came from. So we'll see you down the road real soon in the next day or two, depending on what pops up. We also got to catch up on AEW soon too. We'll do that sometime this week. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Much love. See you soon.